What's up, everybody? Greetings from Southern California, New Zealand. Welcome to another episode of the Bigote Brothers Podcast. You'll see our social media links down below in the middle. Come and follow us. Hit that like, subscribe button. But yeah, so it's been a crazy week for Lakers fans.
I don't know if
I mean,
crazy is the word.
It's been a crazy week for like sports in general because tomorrow's Super Bowl Sunday, and I got my Super Bowl shirt here, but no, my Rams aren't in the game, but it's all good.
You know what? Speaking about the Rams, I just found this out last week. So, they're actually coming to, well, not here, to Australia. So the Rams and the Eagles are going to be playing in Melbourne next year. And I might catch up with some friends there just to watch it. Yeah, it's a 3-hour flight to Melbourne, and I don't know. So my friend, I have a couple of friends over there, and we're obviously looking to watch because they haven't seen an NFL game live. But you know, I as someone who's only seen one game, right? I've been to a Niners game, obviously, and the environment is just crazy in a football game. I think. I think when you compare it to basketball, it's just two different things, man.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you have an arena that's like 3 times or 4 times the size of a basketball stadium. So I've only been to one game. Also, I've only been to one game at SoFi. Rams played the Saints, my wife's team. So yeah, that was fun.
So what's the capacity? What's the seating capacity in SoFi? Do you remember?
SoFi, I think, would be about more or less 65,000.
Is it 60, 70,000, something like that?
Around that, yeah. SoFi Stadium, yeah.
So for contrast, the game in Australia is gonna be played in one of the. It's kind of like, so give me a famous. What's the most famous arena? Would you say in the U.S.? So obviously that's MSG, right? So for basketball,
in the U.S., yeah, for basketball, MSG.
How about for football? What would be the biggest stadium for
Cowboy
football?
Stadium.
Cowboy Stadium, right?
NT Stadium, yeah.
So
Arlington,
okay, gotcha. So this game in Australia is going to be played in the Melbourne Cricket Ground. That's definitely on that level. If you're talking about, so for cricket as a game, that's it. So they're going to be playing it, I think, in 100,000 plus seating stadium.
Wow.
So from what I'm hearing, it's gonna get sold out. So we got to get fast because I really want to see. I mean, I'll be honest. I hate the Eagles. I hate them. I hate them. I mean, the Rams are okay because, you know, they got Jimmy G over there. You know, I got love for Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
So, you know, I don't hate the Rams as much as most Niners fans do.
Fans do, yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that game, to be honest. And again, I've only watched one, and I was hooked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an Eagles fan.
Who's an Eagles fan? Eagles fans are crazy. Come on.
But at the same time, do I really want to see the Chiefs three-peat?
That's kind of like, look, that's the existential question right now. Right? Let me tell you that. So this to me is kind of like what that Phoenix LA Clippers conference final was.
Oh yeah.
A couple years back, that was it for me. I absolutely hate the Phoenix Suns. I think Booker is just a front runner. I hate Campaign with all my heart. And then obviously Clippers are the Clippers.
Yep.
You know, it was a tough series to watch as a Laker fan. I'm glad the Suns got whooped, to be honest, in the finals. But that was a conference finals that was hard. So I can imagine obviously this Super Bowl coming up. It's tomorrow for us. So no, sorry, Monday for us. Today's a Saturday, so it's gonna be on a Monday. And yeah, man, look, it's what do you think? Who do you want to win in that situation? Who would you like?
Given that the Eagles have won once, and they won in 2019 against the team that I hated the most, which is the New England Patriots.
Big Dick Nick, baby.
Yep, Nick Foles. But I would like to see the Eagles win this one.
Right. I think I'm with you on that one. As much as I hate the Eagles and their fans, I still remember I still remember the Eagles clowning Brock for getting injured that game.
Yeah.
So the Eagles fans and Eagles players were talking mad shit to the Niners because obviously Brock got injured in that championship game, the NFC championship game.
Yeah.
And then it just left a bad taste in people's mouths, including mine. So
yeah, of course.
but as much as I want them to suffer for that, I do not want to see Kermit the Frog win another one. Hey guys, hey! Oh my God! I don't want to see. I don't want to see Mahomes win another one. I don't want to see.
I'm Patrick Mahomes.
I don't want to see that three-peat. I mean, look, they're the most ref-coddled team I've ever seen.
Oh God,
that was horrible.
Ever since Belichick's Patriots, hands down.
The 4th and 1 with Josh Allen, that was blatant. Right?
Oh God,
you just knew that. You just knew that close calls were going their way, and it just happened. It's just sad, man. I don't want to say the game is rigged. I don't want to say that. I think there's corruption within it, but it's just hard to kind of disprove that theory when every time you watch the Chiefs, they're getting all the soft calls.
Right.
They're getting all these 50-50 calls. It's just hard to watch, and for that specific reason, I hope they lose. I hope they lose bad. But objectively speaking, they do have the Eagles definitely have a huge chance with this just because of the
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. So I'm guessing if Sirianni's smart, right, he's gonna just run it down the Chiefs' throats all the time, and this is what I don't get with what the Bills did.
Yeah.
Because they had their rush going, right? Yeah. They had their rush going, and obviously you want Josh Allen to make plays and whatnot, but you had it going. Yeah, you were dominating the run game, and then for some reason they kind of strayed away from it, and blah blah blah, and there you go. But as far as the Eagles goes, you don't know who's a fan of the Eagles, right?
I do know some Eagles fans.
No, but do you know one of the biggest Eagles fans?
Oh, who?
Kobe's an Eagles fan.
Kobe is an Eagles fan. Yeah.
So for that specific reason, I hope that the Eagles pull it off.
Yeah.
As much as I hate them, I'd rather see them win than the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Just like I'd rather see the Suns win than the Clippers that year.
The Clippers,
so that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But speaking of crazy, man, I don't think that's even a word, man. I honestly am still in shock at this point.
It was shocking, but as a Lakers fan, like watching these last few days unfold, you kind of don't realize the magnitude until you see graphics on Sports Center, like comparing this trade to the Gretzky trade back in the 80s, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar being traded to the Lakers. So it's crazy. It's crazy. The Lakers are the team that is capable of making these big moves. And the last time I've seen a move this big, other than a free agent signing, off-season free agent signing, was when Pau Gasol was traded.
Yeah.
When we got Pau Gasol for basically nothing. We got him for nothing.
For Kwame Brown. Bonafide. No. Look, I still can't. The Bonafide scrub rat is probably one of the greatest ones ever.
Yeah.
Stephen A. was. Yeah. We already knew Stephen A. because of all the rats, but that was just that was his masterpiece, man. That was the thing. That was it. You still remember it to this day. It's been 17 years.
Yeah, that one and the Jamarcus Russell one. That was.
I mean, look, stay off the weed is funny and all that, but the Kwame Brown rat is probably his best, and I don't know if he's gonna be able to top that.
Yeah.
But look, we've seen Luka with the uniform on. We've seen Luka holding a uniform. He's at his press conference. He's been showing up at games, right? Did you see that play where that give and go play between LeBron and Jackson Hayes?
This was against the Warriors yesterday?
This was the game before. I think this was against the what was their game before?
Who they played before the Warriors?
The Clippers. This was against the Clippers. Right? So Braun was bringing up the ball, gave it to Jackson Hayes on the wing, right? and then Bron just exploded. It was a give and
Yeah.
go.
Right.
Jackson gave it to LeBron,
Mhm.
and I don't know if LeBron was tired, but he couldn't get up too much. But he was still able to lay it in for
Uh-huh.
the two.
Mhm.
And then he looked at Luka on the bench. Luka's on the Lakers bench, and that was where they were at. And then I don't recall what exactly he did, but there were angles saying that this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So he's saying to Luka, this is what's gonna happen with
Yeah.
us. Which
Yeah.
is to me that was probably okay. This is real now,
Yeah.
right? And he's also had his jersey on now with photos and whatnot.
Right.
And look, man, I'm really really excited about
Yeah.
this. I think we should probably analyze what's going on. But
yeah.
let's start with it. Let's start from the top, right? So we discussed this before, but what was the trade all about? So you got Lakers got Luka,
Mhm.
right? And they only had to give up. I say this lightly, right? They gave up Anthony Davis,
And Davis. Mm-hmm.
Max Christie,
Matt Christie,
and an unprotected 2029 pick,
second round. Yep.
right?
Oh, first
So
round. Mm.
it's not. I mean, look, a lot of people say it's a fleece. A lot of people say it's undervalued.
If you
Did
put
the
it in
Lakers?
perspective, also, Mikal Bridges was traded for 5 first rounders.
Yeah, because was 5 pick. I think Gobert was 4 or 5 as well.
Right.
You got that, and then obviously because I think Durant was 3. I'm
Yeah.
not too sure.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, when you trade superstars, that's exactly what you get, right?
Yeah.
And look, the Mavs aren't getting trash. Anthony Davis is still good.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Davis is someone who's going to anchor your defense, and reports are he's going to keep playing the 4 now because
Mhm.
Dallas have 2 centers. Dallas has 2
Gafford,
centers that they can use.
Lively, yeah.
Yep, they got Lively and Gafford, which are
Mhm.
pretty good dudes. And Max Christie is not a scrub.
Oh,
He's the
he's great. Yeah.
he's essentially what KCP was to them now.
Do them. Yeah, yeah.
He's not at that level yet, I think, but
Right.
he's getting there. The last couple of games that they played before the trade, he was absolutely balling.
Yeah.
And if you saw the couple of Mavs games that were played, he's actually played well.
Yeah. He played on. Yeah.
So he's the 3-and-D guy that the Lakers need, and the Warriors are gonna obviously benefit from. So you basically got Clay and Max there as 3-and-D guys,
Right.
with Kyrie essentially being the point guard.
Good point. Yeah.
The thing that people are turned off about, and this is, I completely understand this. They only got 1 pick, man. That's 1 pick. We talk about Bridges, talk about Gobert.
Yeah. Usually,
Dallas,
when you trade a superstar, you want to trade a superstar for at least the future of your team. So
Yeah.
you want to get multiple first round picks for that.
yeah. And Luke, here's the thing, right? Luka's only 25. Luka's 25. He to put this in perspective, rookies sign when you get drafted, you sign a 4-year deal, right? And the first 2 years are guaranteed, and the last 2 years are team options.
Yeah.
So after that, usually on year 4, they get extensions. Worth, I believe that the most you can get was 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
They can extend you for the rookie max for 5 years.
Yep.
And then that's when you essentially become a free agent after you can do whatever you want. So to put this in, I'll put this in to quick perspective, right? So LeBron, he got drafted at 18, right? And then he got that initial 4-year contract.
Right.
And then obviously, you're going to exercise the team option because that's LeBron.
Yep.
Now, the different thing with LeBron is that instead of negotiating for a 5-year rookie extension, he negotiated for a 3-year max rookie extension. He did that with Wade and Bosch, and that's how the 2010 Heatles came about.
Yep.
Okay, so in contrast, Carmelo Anthony from the from the Nuggets, he got the full 5 years, and that's why he could enjoy that team. And actually, Carmelo was traded while he was still on that contract.
Right.
He was traded to the Knicks, but the Knicks got a haul for him. Sorry, the Nuggets got a haul for Carmelo.
Yep.
Whereas Dallas traded Luka while on that rookie extension. Right? He has 2 years left on that deal.
Right.
and then they traded him for AD, who's turning 32, and one pick plus max. I mean, you can understand the frustration that Mavs fans are getting about this, and but you want to know what's what's even weird about this? So Mavs actually wanted Dalton Connect in the 2031 pick for this.
Yeah, they wanted Dalton Connect, and Pelinka was quoted as saying, "We're not gonna give Dalton Connect because Luka's too big of a risk."
Yeah,
Like,
and the thing is, because they were doing this, the special thing about this trade was obviously no one knew about it. No one was leaking it. No one's Shams, no whatever.
Yeah.
Because the only ones talking were Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison, the GMs of both teams.
Yeah.
That was the framing of it,
And
right?
of course, ownership. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So no one was talking about this, and Rob, and this is where I'm kind of frustrated at some Laker fans saying Pelinka's trash. Okay, so Pelinka was the one who drove this price down. He was gonna give up a lot, which is obviously still worth it if you ask me.
Yeah.
Right. But he ended up giving what he gave, and this is why people think A, the Mavs got fleeced, and B, that initial Shams tweet was fake. It was. I remember. I was thinking the same thing. I thought Shams was hacked when he said that.
Yeah.
And I saw. I think it was you who showed me the ESPN tweet after.
Oh yeah. That's me. Yeah.
Right. That
confirms it.
That confirmed it, because the only ones I had was. So Shams tweeted it, and I saw a tweet from Bobby Marks, who also works at ESPN, saying, "Oh, Shams wasn't hacked. This is real." I'm like, what? So the fact that someone in this contract was traded, and again, the last person who was traded while on this rookie extension contract was Carmelo.
Yeah.
And the Denver got a lot from him. For him, right? The
Yeah.
Knicks were so weak when they traded for Carmelo. People were saying, "Hey, you should have waited until Carmelo was a free agent and then get him." But the Lakers got him for a bargain, right?
Yeah.
So, one of the things that's funny to me about this is, they say that LeBron didn't know anything about this. So, I want to pose a question.
Okay.
Is LeBron is he serious or delirious when LeBron says that he didn't know anything about this?
So when
Zero.
When the trade was first confirmed, I was like, no way in hell LeBron could have not signed off on this deal. But after watching the press conference and Rob, telling the world that, hey, it was just me and Nico Harrison talking, I kind of believe that, because number one, and this is what really blows my mind about this trade. Nico Harrison approached Rob Pelinka. He was the one who actively told Rob Pelinka, "Hey, we can trade Luka." So then again, this is why I understand how pissed off Mavs fans are, because he was the one who actively approached. We didn't ask for Luka. He offered Luka to us.
And he did it in such. He also did it in such a juvenile way as he can. Like, oh, we met for coffee.
Yeah, for coffee.
Like, hey, I'm thinking about trading Luka. And Rob said, "Oh, are you serious?"
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, I'm dead serious." What the fuck was that?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. And then understand again why Mavs fans are upset, because Luka is a beloved figure, not just with the Mavericks but the whole city of Dallas. I understand the how upset Mavs fans are, but and again, it's just mind-boggling to know that they were willing to to give up Luka. And it kind of made me skeptical at first. Like, okay, why are you guys giving up Luka? Is it because he's out of shape? Is it because so he came into practice weighing 270 or something? Like, okay, is there something we don't know? Is there something that you guys know that we don't?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of the thing, right? What's the ulterior motive here?
Yeah,
What's going on with Luka?
yeah,
Is he gonna be obviously the worst case scenario here is that his body is just fucked as Kawhi was.
yeah,
Right? There's something here that the Mavs medical staff saw that you know
yeah,
what I don't want to deal with this guy anymore
yeah.
because the context here is that Luka is I think it's next year he can start negotiating for it. He's up
Right.
for the Supermax.
Yeah,
Right? So the Supermax, obviously, for those who don't follow as much, you can only get the Supermax from the team that drafted you.
yeah.
Or if you get traded while you're on that initial 4-year deal, that's when you can get the
Yeah.
Supermax.
But he's no
Right?
longer on that 4-year deal. He's already on the extension.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So given the fact that he's traded, he lost essentially $100 million just
Right.
because of him getting traded. So
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about some of the other weird stuff about that number, but
Mhm.
it kind of seems that they just didn't want to pay Luka $350 million next year. That's kind of what
Right.
I'm seeing here.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are some reasons that we've seen, and we'll discuss that. But
Mm.
now, Luka's a Laker. I still can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Luka's a Laker, and
Yeah.
obviously the Lakers have traded away their center. And
Right. Hmm.
how does this change the way they play the game now? Given the fact that the Lakers' offense for the last 5 years has essentially been LeBron and AD
Mhm.
pick and rolls
Okay.
and lobs and whatnot. So
Yeah.
what do you think is the
Let's
impact
look
of
at
this on,
let's look
on
at
the
the start.
offense?
Let's look at the potential starting five now. So we got Luka at point guard. Austin Reeves now moves to the shooting guard position full time.
His natural spot, by the way.
Natural spot. Um, LeBron at small forward. We got either Rui Hachimura or Dorian Finney-Smith at the four.
I think Rui's starting. Yeah,
Rui,
go ahead.
Rui starting, and someone who we'll talk about later at five, Mark Williams.
Yep.
So, how does this change the game? The way the Lakers play? Well, like you mentioned earlier, any situation which involves a pick and roll with LeBron and Luka, it's a sure 2 points.
It's unstoppable, man.
It's unstoppable.
That's
Any
that's essentially gonna be the tush push of the NBA now.
Yeah. Any situation where you have Luka giving a lob over to Mark Williams, almost a sure 2 points, given that Mark Williams is averaging 58% from the field. 58%.
And he's long. He's
Yeah.
long too, so he has a
Yeah.
longer wingspan than Wemby.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
So that's crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy. And then you have when teams make adjustments on LeBron and Luka, you got Austin Reeves, you got Hachimura, who can knock him down from distance. So, I mean, the only thing that really that's a little bit that's a little bit that has to be a little bit skeptical is the bench.
Yep.
But I mean,
Look,
hey,
man. I mean,
our,
look, Gabe Vincent's been on a roll, bro.
he's been on a
The
roll.
last 3 games, he's
Yeah.
been on a roll. He's looking like Miami Gabe Vincent now.
Right. Yeah.
He's been knocking. I mean, yesterday against the Warriors, he knocked down 5 threes.
Jackson
15
Hayes
points.
been playing well too.
Jackson Hayes was playing well. Yeah.
We've
I
been
think-
we've been playing all these great games against the Knicks. We blew out the Clippers, and we were up 20 against the Warriors yesterday, and then have them come back. And we've been playing this way without AD and
Yeah.
without Luka still on the lineup. So imagine once Luka comes in, once Mark Williams comes in, how much better we're gonna be.
Yeah. I think that what happened here is that, well, first of all, from what we talked about earlier, I think LeBron is also serious when he says that he didn't know it was happening.
Yeah,
Right? I was in the boat. I was in the boat where initially with you that this is clutch. They know everything.
Yeah,
They should know everything about. But one of the things that I love about this trade that it's not being talked about a lot and that's being discussed because it's more of a back office impact more than anything.
yeah,
This trade just shows me that Rob Pelinka is now in full control of this team.
right.
Before he was obviously running through clutch, right?
Yeah.
He was making moves based on what LeBron and AD would sign off or what would be favorable for them. And this
Right.
is obvious. This has been culminated by the Westbrook trade that happened in 2021.
True.
I still think that's the worst trade in Lakers history, if you ask me.
Absolute worst trade. Yeah.
And there is 100%. You can see the fingerprints of LeBron in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think after that, there were reports about this that the relationship between Clutch and the Lakers front office there's a bit of a strained relationship there because of how they pushed for that trade and what the aftermath was for it.
Right.
Because you got to remember, before they already had a Buddy Hield trade in place that the year, right? They were gonna send Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell for Buddy Hield, right?
Yeah.
And that wouldn't have cost you the depth that it did when you went for Westbrook.
Yeah.
That decimated your team. And they've been playing catch up ever since, right?
Yeah.
That's why it was a miracle that they even got to the conference finals in 2023. And why was that?
Yeah.
Because Rob Pelinka managed to flip Russell Westbrook and a protected first round pick for 3 players. In theory, that would have worked out, but it didn't. But he also got Rui Hachimura in that trade deadline.
That's right. Yeah.
For Kendrick Nunn.
Right.
So, we talked about this. Let Rob cook.
Yeah.
Let Rob cook.
Yeah.
Right? And he cooked. He cooked this trade deadline. And
Yeah.
I initially thought that LeBron wasn't was kidding when he was saying this, but I'm more in the camp now that LeBron is serious. LeBron is serious. He didn't know about this.
He didn't know. Yeah. Yeah.
This
He found
is-
out about it while he was having dinner in New York after the game. So,
So this is Pelinka's way of taking back control of the team. This is now, well, obviously he's gonna try to make Luka happy now, but
yeah.
this is them saying to Clutch that you don't run this team anymore.
No.
And that's what I like most about this trade.
Right.
Now about the play style, right? So they've been playing a lot of high pick and roll with AD, and I think the reason why it was working at the start when they were having because AD was making his threes. AD was shooting threes with confidence.
Shooting threes, yeah.
And he was making them, right? And the spacing that he provided allowed for LeBron more opportunities to cut inside.
Right.
And obviously now that AD's gone, you lost that roll threat.
Right.
But we're going to talk about Mark Williams later, but you pretty much compensated for that now.
Yeah.
But the main difference that I see here is that how is LeBron off ball recently? If you got to ask that question, and the answer to that he's been good. He's been really good.
He's been good, yeah. And that's the thing that some people who don't really understand the trade, they're like, oh, how can we have Luka and LeBron on the same team? They're two ball dominant players. LeBron's no longer ball dominant.
Yeah, AD's. If you look at the stats, AD has the most usage on this team.
Yeah.
LeBron's usage has been consistently down, and this is the lowest it has been.
And like
It
you
just
mentioned
seem-
previously, yeah, he's getting his points off of catch and shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we mentioned that before.
Yeah.
a lot of his field goal attempts are unassisted. Sorry, assisted.
Assisted, yeah.
So he's been working for that, right? And I think the view has been skewed because he's been handling the ball a lot. But
Right.
if you really watch the games, you see that he's been sharing that load with Austin.
Sharing it with AR, yeah.
So Austin's been essentially I wouldn't say the primary playmaker. He and LeBron are probably sharing that load. Now, you have Luke on board, who's 100% going to be the primary ball handler here.
Ball handler, yeah.
You're shifting LeBron to the second
Yeah.
playmaker, and you got Austin now as the third. That means that the Lakers' weakness recently has been JJ has been playing, obviously starting LeBron and Austin, and he's not staggering minutes to the fact that you'd want either Austin or LeBron on the floor at any time,
Right.
and they've been losing those minutes where none of those guys are on the floor.
Yeah.
That is gone now.
Now, yeah.
That is gone. Luka, LeBron, or Austin will always be on the floor at any given point in time during
Right.
any game,
Any game, yeah.
right? So someone will be playmaking.
Yeah.
That's never gonna stop. So it's just a matter of how are they gonna adjust to Luka running the show. But I
Yeah.
think they should be fine. You know
It
why?
should be
Because
fun. Yeah.
JJ has designed a lot of plays that allowed shooters to get open. If you remember the first part of the season where they would, even the preseason, they would get a lot of open threes from the corner.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be so much more now. And
Yeah.
I want to bring in this next topic because we got to talk about this guy's impact as well. So Mark Williams. Mark
Yeah.
Williams was acquired from the Charlotte Hornets. So it cost them. And this hurts because I like this
Well,
guy, Dolphin Connect.
Dalton Connect. Yeah.
They cost him Cam Reddish. They it's a 2031 unprotected pick
Yep.
and a 2030 pick swap.
Pick
So
swap,
that
yeah.
means that they get to choose which one of the picks to get. So
Yeah.
if the Hornets have a better pick than the Lakers, they probably just keep their pick.
Yeah.
If the Lakers have a better pick in 2030, I highly doubt that. Then they're gonna get the Lakers pick. That's
They're
what a
gonna
swap
get-
is.
Yeah.
So Mark Williams, let's talk about him. So
So
you
first
mentioned
of
that
all,
he's
yeah, Dalton
Yeah.
Connect. I mean, we love Dalton Connect. I mean, he's been great. He's had a 30-point game, but I think ultimately, like the last month or so,
He's been struggling.
He's been inconsistent, and I think that's what made him expendable.
and
Yeah.
he's also been. We know that his weakness coming in was defense, and it's being shown. Him and Austin are being cooked on the,
Yeah.
on the defensive end, but you
Right.
you really can't have a lot of those if you want to win, right? So you already have Austin, and
Yeah.
that's what made Dalton expendable. But he's been a great shooter, a decent shooter for this team. Yeah,
Yeah, but again, like we got Mark Williams.
Mark Williams.
Yeah.
So what do you think about how Mark Williams will fit into this team?
So, all right, first things first. Like, we don't really know. Like me personally, I didn't really see a lot of his game just because he was on a bad team. So we just get that exposure. But we've seen highlights. I've looked at his numbers. He's been averaging almost 16 points, almost 10 rebounds a game. Only 25 games though played for the Hornets this year. But like you mentioned, he has a long wingspan. He can box out. He's a big body underneath. He's 7 foot. He's 7'2". Oh, seven flat.
Yeah,
But-
Sam Flat.
But again, he's not. His game totally different from AD. He doesn't have that long range threat. But really, what we need is a big body underneath, and
Right.
like he's there. Like again, Luka, I think was the one who approached Rob about getting a lob threat underneath. So again, he got it for him. I think he's gonna be able to. He's gonna be able to play off of those lobs, pick and roll situations where, you can just dump it underneath to Mark Williams, and he's gonna get his 2 points. 58% shooting from the field. The efficiency is really good, especially when you look at advanced stats with Mark Williams. How much he's scoring around the rim, how much he's how many shots are contested when he's underneath. So yeah, I think we got a really solid 5 right now,
Yeah.
which we need. Yeah.
100%, 100%. So I've actually watched Mark Williams because number one, I'm a fan of the LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo Ball,
I
yeah.
watched him here. I watched him play here. I'm a big fan, and I like watching Hornets broadcast. If you haven't, so for anybody who hasn't seen Hornets games, right, you got to pay attention to the broadcasters because they're probably one of the more enthusiastic broadcasters out there. They're fun to listen to. Okay,
Right.
if you're a Laker fan, you're used to getting good commentary, right? So
Yeah.
Bill and Stu are great. They're amazing at their job. But the Hornets ones, they're just entertaining. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch. Watch any highlights, Hornets highlights when they're playing at home. You listen to the announcer. I don't know what his name is. I'm sorry, but he's probably. If I had to rank team announcers, I would put the Lakers on the top,
Mm-hmm.
and the Hornets right
Hornet.
there with them.
Yeah.
That's how I think about it. That's why I
Yeah.
watch Hornet games.
Right.
So what I've seen from Mark Williams is you kind of mentioned a lot of it, right? He's a lob threat. He's an inside threat who will catch the ball.
Yeah.
And he's gonna feast with this team.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got LeBron who can throw a great lob. We've seen that. He's done that with AD. You got Luka, who's worked with Gafford, who's worked with Lively. He's gonna get fed, right? So what I foresee them doing here is that one of the sets they're gonna run is they're gonna do high pick and roll with Luka and Mark Williams or LeBron and Mark Williams.
Right.
And what Williams has shown is that he will always roll hard.
Mm-hmm.
He will always look for that lob, right? So that's gonna be there. So the question now for defenses is, are you gonna focus on Luka? Are you gonna focus on LeBron, or are you gonna leave this dude, 7-foot dude with a wingspan crazy, run wild to the hoop and catch a potential lob? That's an initial 2 points. We mentioned that earlier.
Defenders.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one. So the other part of his game is that he's an energy guy.
Yeah.
He's not the biggest. So he's tall, but he's very thin.
Yeah.
And he's probably gonna get pushed out. If you're talking about Jokic here or Embiid, he's gonna have games. He's gonna get cooked, right?
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. But he's gonna be able to give you that offensive rebounding that has been sorely lacking with the team.
Yep.
Because he's just a very athletic guy. Who has a good second, third jump. He's gonna fight for those rebounds. So he's essentially what Jackson is, but better.
But better
In that sense. Now, he can also block shots. Obviously, he's a tall guy, so he's not as good as AD when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of his biggest weaknesses. His defense is not there. So they essentially said, you know what? Because they had an option to get Walker Kessler too, if Danny Ainge was just reasonable. Walker Kessler he's probably worse than Mark Williams on offense, but way better at defense.
Way better defense. Yeah.
So it looks like for this move, I'm not sure if Walker Kessler was really available, but assuming he was, they went for offense here.
Yeah.
They went for what's the better fit for Luka and potentially LeBron. So Mark Williams, for that question, yes, he's a great fit. Now, they sent out 2 picks here, so there's a swap, sure, but the 30-31 pick, they a lot of people are saying they overpaid for Mark Williams. I would say yes. I would say they did overpay for him because of the fact that you mentioned it. He's been injury prone.
Yeah.
So he's had back problems. He's had ankle problems, and that's deadly for a big man. So the Lakers are 100% taking a risk with Mark Williams here.
Yeah.
He's a great fit. Don't get me wrong, but they are taking a risk. They're hoping that he's not going to be as injured as he was in Charlotte because he's been injured in Charlotte. When he's on the floor, he's been amazing.
Yeah.
But he's been injured, that sucks. And the next thing about him is that he's extension eligible next year as well.
Right.
So this is the last. They have to extend him now. And okay, so if we're talking about contract values, so Gobert is making probably $30 million. I would say that's if Gobert is making $30 million, then the center market is probably gonna fall behind that.
Right.
I'm guessing Mark Williams is gonna command something between $22 to $26 million a year. And with this injury risk, it becomes a lot riskier for the Lakers. But if we're gonna talk about fit, I think he's a perfect fit for this system. For what JJ is running, for all the screens that they're running, the screen actions and the handoffs, he's gonna be a perfect fit.
Oh yeah.
So that's the Lakers. Now, what do you? I hate revisiting this question, but I have to. So before all this went down, right? Before all this bullshit went down, we kind of predicted the Lakers would reach the conference finals.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's time for us to do another Bigote Brothers prediction here. Okay. What do you think is gonna happen now with this team? Let's be real.
Okay. Luka Doncic on the team. With all those weapons and Luka in his prime, but barring any any unforeseen injuries, or hopefully we don't have any, I'll stick with my conference finals prediction.
Oh, okay.
My
You went conservative. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be conservative and stick with
Okay.
conference finals. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's I with the current configuration of this team, I think the conference finals is the floor now. We thought of it as the ceiling
Yeah.
initially.
Yeah.
I personally think of it as the floor now. I think, look, man, we're gonna talk about how the Lakers did these last few games, but what I've seen since that trade went down is that, the feeling when you're a bit drowsy and you pop open a can of an energy drink.
Yeah.
When you take that first couple of swigs of that energy drink,
And
you
yeah,
feel something different.
yeah.
I think that's what happened with this team now.
Oh yeah.
I don't know
They're
if I
energized.
don't know if it's gonna wear off. Okay, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But watching these last few games, LeBron just looks like he's 5 years younger, man.
Oh yeah.
He looks amazing. He looks like I don't know if he's been coasting the whole time or whatever, but he looks like he doesn't look like he's 40 right now is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, against the Warriors, he scored 42 points, and the only other 40-year-old who scored 40 in a game
He's the GOAT.
Jordan. The
The
goat.
GOAT.
Yep.
All right. Jordan did that.
Yep.
Okay. I look, I don't want to get burned, but I just have to be realistic. I think this team, as presently constructed, and take note, we're gonna talk about buyouts later. That's still
Right.
there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? But assuming that they just get someone decent from that market, even if they don't, this current team with the way they're playing,
Yeah, yeah.
I think the conference final is the floor. I think they're going to the finals.
The floor,
I think
yeah.
the finals bout. Okay, the way I see it, the West all boils down to OKC, Denver, and now the Lakers.
Yeah, because
I think that's it.
my conservative thinking is that once we got this lineup, I was thinking now we have the tools to beat the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think we can go toe to toe with them. Now. I think that's
Yeah.
the problem. I mean, look, they lost those two games because they just lacked the playmaking in the clutch.
right.
They got swept, sure. They got
Yeah.
swept, but it was a horrible sweep, by the way. But the games that they lost, they were close.
Yeah, they were
They
close,
had
yeah.
the chances to win. If it weren't for those fluke threes, if it weren't for
Jamal
the
Murray's
clutch
clutch
shots by
move, yeah.
Murray, they would
Yeah.
have won.
Yeah,
And they now have someone.
they have that.
They have that
Yeah.
guy. They have
They
that
have
guy.
that-
You can
yeah.
just throw him the ball, and he's gonna make something happen. And LeBron is still that guy most of the time, but he's, he can't really rely on him too much, and that's
Right.
understandable.
Yeah,
So with that being said, yeah, my own prediction is they go to the finals for this. I think they beat.
nice.
I would say they beat OKC in the conference finals, and then they face the
Boston.
Cavs in the finals. I think it's the Cavs.
The Cavs. Yeah.
And let's talk about the Cavs, right? Because we're gonna move about to the other shades now. So
The-
the
the
Cavs
Cavs-
managed to get DeAndre Hunter.
Hunter, yeah, from the Hawks, yeah.
So DeAndre Hunter is probably one of the best six men in the league right now. I think he scored 20 points from the bench,
From the bench, yeah.
which is crazy. And you add that to that Cleveland offense. So what's your thoughts about that Cleveland team now, given the fact that they essentially have they have Donovan Mitchell, they got Evan Mobley, they got Jared Allen, and they got Garland, and now they have
DeAndre Hunter.
DeAndre Hunter.
Do
Who do you think?
you think he's gonna start for Cleveland?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
The only reason why he's not even starting in Atlanta is because they have Jalen Johnson, who's been
Jalen
he's
Johnson,
been really
yeah.
good as well, right? Would he start in the Cavs? I mean, look, I don't think he should start just because of the fact that they already are somewhat they built their chemistry already.
And
But-
he's cooking as a sixth man, so
But you know what? I think they've been starting Max Strus, right? So
Right,
that's
right,
the
yeah.
guy that gives him a little bit more shooting because Strus is a bit more off ball guy and he's gonna be your 3-and-D somewhat.
3 and D, yeah.
Does he start?
Mm-hmm.
Logically speaking, I think he should.
Yep.
Just given the fact that he's a bucket. DeAndre Hunter's a bucket.
Right.
And that gives
Yeah.
you that top heavy offense.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you got Donovan Mitchell and whatnot, but I think he just started because he's the best player
Yeah.
among your. Who's the best player left? That's not in the starting five.
It's not in the starting
It
five.
would be good to put him on
Mm.
the bench, but think about it this way: he's averaging 19 points on 28 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna get more of that in
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Oh, so more. Yeah. Yeah.
So you got a 20-point scorer here,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. He's been hurt a lot, and hopefully he's not that hurt when it comes to them.
Right.
But but when he's healthy, he's great.
Yep.
And I think this is the move that propels them against Boston. This is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
They can definitely match Boston point per point now.
Right.
Right. So this is the one that's gonna take him over the top, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope the Cavs don't choke.
Mm-hmm.
But this gives him a good chance.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. I think come playoff time, I was thinking that Cavs might have the best record in the regular season, but come playoff time, I think it's gonna be Boston with their experience. But now that the Cavs have DeAndre Hunter on their team, I think like you mentioned, they now have all the right weapons to match up against Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, Drew Holiday.
Yeah, because the Celtics style is they're gonna try to suffocate you with your threes, right? They're gonna
With the threes, yeah.
they're gonna go 3-and-D. They're gonna suffocate you with your threes. But you now have a Cleveland offense that has Garland, has Mitchell, has
Spider.
Hunter. You got that three-headed beast, and you got the two defensive guys in the forward spots.
Yeah.
I think they're essentially built to beat the Celtics
the
now, and I
Celtics,
think
yeah.
that's what they're gonna do.
Right.
I would take the Cavs in 6 against the Celtics.
6, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's my thoughts
Right.
on that.
Yeah.
So obviously that's not the other big trade that happened. Do you remember another one?
De'Aaron Fox.
Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs. Oh gosh.
This is okay.
Another team that pulls off moves out of nowhere.
Yeah, the Spurs.
Yeah.
I mean, hate him as you want. They got a great front office. Obviously, I hope Pop gets better. I think
Yeah.
the game is better
Shout
with
out
him.
Pop. Yep.
So shout out to Greg Popovich, one of the greatest coaches
Yep.
in the history of the game.
Yep.
Obviously he's not there because of health issues,
Yeah.
but hopefully he gets better. But that front
Right.
office has been solid forever, and I have no surprises how they landed Fox.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they didn't get him for. I'm not gonna say it's like the magnitude of the Lakers trade,
Yeah.
but they didn't give up a lot either.
They kept Sohan. They kept Vassell. So the core of that young core is still there.
Yeah, Stephon Castle is there. They didn't
Stephon
give
Castle,
up anything from their core.
Right.
They just managed to throw away one who's not working, and then they kept everything. It's kind of like, so they definitely won that trade. Okay,
Yeah.
So number one, so it's mostly them just keeping their core and just being essentially improving. So let's break down the trade.
Also, you have that veteran leadership from Chris Paul.
Yeah, Chris Paul is a freaking backup.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Right? So
Yeah.
this is not the Warriors where he was backing up Curry. This is this is a solid Spurs team
Yeah.
that he's backing up.
Right.
So the Spurs got De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. There was a 3-team trade, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about this next guy next. So the Kings got Zach LaVine, Sidi Sissoko. How many picks is it? 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks.
And proceeded to trade Sidi Sissoko to the Wizards for Valanciunas.
That's right. So
Yeah.
Jonas went to them too. So we're gonna talk about the Kings in a bit. So
Right.
the Bulls, they got Zach Collins, Trey Jones from the Spurs,
Right.
and the Spurs gave them their pick back.
Yeah.
That's what the Spurs gave up. The Spurs gave up 2 first-round picks, Zach Collins and Trey Jones. That's crazy.
So we're looking at the Sacramento Kings. So I want to ask you, how will that work? Having Zach LaVine and DeRozan on the team.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that team before, man.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Sacramento is. They had that beam season, right? They've been good.
Yeah, like the beam. Yeah.
Right, but they've been trash ever since, and I think this is just
Terrible. Yeah.
I don't know why they make this trade. Number one, okay,
Mhm.
I don't know why. I understand that Darren Fox wanted out. I understand that.
Yeah.
They had to trade him before they extend him because he's not going to sign. He mentioned that he's not going to sign.
Yeah.
So they had to make a trade, and this is probably the best one they got. And I would take it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've seen how Zach LaVine and DeMar play with each other, right?
Right.
They know each other already. And
Yeah.
to be honest, that's not a bad team if you look at it. You got Zach LaVine, you got DeMar DeRozan, you got Jonas, and then you got Sabonis.
Yeah.
That's not a bad team,
It's not bad. Yeah.
right? You got Keegan Murray as well. That's a pretty solid team, but
Murray,
it's
yeah.
not something that is gonna take you to places. It's
No.
a play-in team. It's a
Yeah.
mid. It's probably a 7 seed, 8 seed play-in team.
Right.
But it is what it is. They
Yeah.
look. They had a chance to draft Luka, didn't?
Yeah.
This just. I feel bad for these other teams because, unlike the Lakers, Lakers made the biggest mistake trading for Westbrook.
Yeah.
And look, 4 years later they get Luka. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
But teams like the Spurs the Kings don't have that same luxury. So
No, yeah.
I predict they're just gonna keep going to mediocrity for the
Yeah.
next couple of years.
Right.
And they just got to do a hard rebuild, man.
Yeah.
Just like this next team. So the Bulls.
The Bulls.
The Bulls are just. I don't know what they did. So they lost Alex Caruso for nothing, right?
Yeah.
They traded they traded away DeMar. Didn't get a lot of return for him.
Didn't get a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. They traded LaVine. Didn't get a lot for him. So they're kind of. I think the Bulls should have tanked, to be honest, as early in the part of the season. But
Right.
I don't know why they held out for that long, and now they're stuck in the middle. They're essentially a lottery team
They
that's
are,
not
yeah.
going to get any better soon. So
Right.
what a fall from grace, right? From
Yeah.
from what the Bulls were, at least the Bulls that we knew.
Right. Yeah. I
Right,
mean,
and
not like
so-
that. I mean, the Bulls from like the late 2000s. It's just it's been different. Like, I don't know. Cooper Flag's available. We'll see.
But the thing is, they're not even that. They're
Yeah.
not even in that
They're not even
stratosphere
in
when it
that-
comes to
yeah, where they could hold the number one pick, right?
Yeah, they're not. So I think. So I'm pretty sure that the Sixers and the Wizards are the ones that are doing that. So
Yeah.
at this point in time, the top three, the most odds of getting the first round pick, the Cooper Flag, are
Yeah.
Washington, New Orleans, and Utah.
Oh, not even Charlotte.
No, Charlotte is half a game
Half a game.
ahead of the
So-
Jazz.
The Pelicans, the Jazz, and the Wizards.
And the Pelicans are going full tank mode now because they just traded Brandon Ingram to the
Right,
the
to
Raptors.
the Raptors, yeah. And Wizards also traded Kuz to Milwaukee for
Milwaukee, yeah.
Chris Middleton.
Yeah. So Milwaukee's obviously Washington's gonna get bad. Milwaukee, again, I think Chris Middleton was on the way out, and that's probably another just, you know what, I just want to get something back trade.
Yeah.
I mean, Kuz, I love Kuz. Kuz is
Yep.
one of my favorite Lakers ever. He's struggling this year. He's been
Right.
bad. He's been really
Yeah.
bad. And hopefully, he's gonna pick himself up in Milwaukee. I don't know. I
Let's
don't
see
know
what
about
happens,
that
yeah.
because he's not gonna get a lot of shots with Dame and Giannis in there, though.
No. No.
So, but yeah, look. So Chicago is 8th right now. If you're looking at the standings, he's eighth worst team. So I'm guessing. Look, if it's either Washington, New Orleans, or Utah to get that
Or
Cooper
get-
Flag pick,
or
but we
get-
don't know. But if
Yeah.
if the Bulls wanted to tag, the time is done. It's
Yeah.
they have 22 wins. There's no way they catch. So
Yeah.
the closest one they're gonna catch is probably Philly or Brooklyn, who has 17 and 20.
Uh-huh.
So they're not gonna go to the top 5. They're not gonna get unless you get lucky.
Philly sub 500.
I mean, look, you got Embiid there who's barely played. I think
Yeah.
Embiid's done.
Yeah.
when he's played, he's been good, and
Yeah.
he had a triple double against the Mavs recently.
Right.
You know, he can show he has the talent. He's just always hurt. It's
With
just how
Philly,
it
you
is.
have that locker room situation as well. You know where.
And
Yeah.
I mean, another locker room that's probably horrible right now are the Warriors, man. If you ask me,
Oh hell
Yeah.
yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
actually have Jimmy Buckets and Draymond Green in the same locker room. How that's not gonna work, right?
Oh my
The Warriors traded for Jimmy Butler and
Right.
it's gonna extend it for 2 years. But how is that locker room gonna be when you have Jimmy Buckets and Draymond Green?
Man.
It's not gonna be a fun environment.
Does he want to be there?
I think what happened was he wanted to get traded to the Suns because they
The
were the
Suns.
only ones willing to give him
Yeah.
a max extension.
Yeah.
So the Warriors essentially just okay, fuck it, let's go give Jimmy what he wants, and
Yeah.
they're gonna give him an extension, a max extension. So paying Jimmy Butler that much at age
Right.
35 is just crazy. But
Yeah.
the Warriors had no choice. They're in desperation mode right now because Steph is
Yeah.
essentially saying that he needs more help. So he just
Yeah.
gotta do that. Now
Mhm.
we kind of saved the Mavs for last, and I want to talk about this a little bit.
Yeah.
So losing AD is tough. AD's been there for the last 5 years. So obviously,
Right.
he won a championship, and Max as well because I think Max is one of the best young talent in the league right now. He's essentially a 3-and-D guy. So, what people are sleeping on the Mavs because of how stupid their GM is, and obviously they lost Luka, but
Right.
they're a solid team
Yeah.
if you look at it.
Mhm.
So we've talked about the Lakers' chances. What do you think about the Mavs' chances now, given the fact that they essentially have a 2 or 3 year window?
I would say, given how deep the Western Conference is, I'd say they were at best a ceiling of conference. They have a conference final ceiling,
Right.
whereas the Lakers have a conference finals floor. They have a conference finals ceiling. You know, I mean, granted that the trade like puts them in a win now situation, but the thing is, you just have a Western Conference that's too deep.
Yeah.
Like with OKC, Denver, the Lakers, obviously, and like who else is like on
Well,
the
right now the Mavs are sitting in 8th spot. They're
They're in
27 and
8th spot, yeah.
25.
Uh-huh.
Right. The next spot up are the Clippers. So the Clippers are 28 and 23. So they're 2 losses down.
right?
I think what's gonna happen with these Mavs is that they're gonna be probably a play-in team. More or less,
Yeah.
they might reach the 6th spot. I think that's probably the most realistic scenario for them. But that's the best case.
Totally forgot Minnesota. Minnesota's there as well. You know?
Yeah, Minnesota's the 6th right now.
Yeah.
So I would say that the Mavs are gonna be in play-in territory. It's pretty tight.
Yeah.
Right now, and they just gotta keep winning. I think they will win because AD's gonna play 4 now. That's
Yeah.
what he wanted. So
That's his spot. Yeah.
right, so they're gonna have a lot of shooters around him. So they have Clay, they have Dante Exum, who's started to a
Yeah.
shooter for some reason,
Yeah.
and they also obviously have Max, who's been
Right.
great, and obviously Kyrie as well as the playmaker there. So
Yeah.
if you ask me, I think they have a good chance to make the playoffs. If they're probably a play-in team, realistically,
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they land in the top 6. But as far as their playoff hopes are concerned, I'm guessing the best they can hope for at this point is a second round exit.
Second round. Yeah.
This team is not going to win anything anytime soon, unless AD plays out of his mind, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think there's a good chance of that. He's highly motivated based on what he's seen. I mean, obviously he didn't know about this trade, and he might be a little pissed at the Lakers. So he might be playing out of his mind soon.
Right.
But with that being said, I think the Mavs are currently they're a second round. They're what the Lakers are essentially before the trade, which is a second round exit team, and that's I think what's gonna happen. So Feb 25 is the date that these two teams are gonna play. AD is it's the Lakers gonna be it's gonna be at Staples Center I'm not gonna say the other name. It's gonna be
The
at
other name,
Staples
yeah.
Center.
You're right.
The Wolves. The Mavs versus the Lakers. Both. Hopefully, everyone's playing. AD's homecoming. What do you expect in that game?
I expect AD to get love from the fans. You know, I mean, he did bring us a championship. He's been playing really well. I mean, he was, you know, I mean, in all honesty, we don't get that 2020 ring without him. So
100%.
he's gonna get that love. I know. I don't know if the Lakers have a game in Dallas this season. I'm not sure, but if that's the case, I know Luka's gonna get the love definitely. You know,
For sure. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, it really is. I think at the end of the day, Nico Harrison's the most hated person in Dallas right now. So, and you know, Rob Pelinka's Rob
Rob
Pelinka's the most
Pelinka.
popular person in LA right now.
I think he should be getting executive of the year now. There's no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
The way he handled this trade deadline,
Yep.
he's gonna get executive of the year.
Right.
Executive of the year.
Yeah.
So the Lakers are on a roll right now. We haven't even talked about this.
Yeah.
So the Lakers are on a roll. Before
Yeah.
the trade, they blew out the Knicks in
The
MSG.
Knicks. Yeah.
Right? Braun was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He had, I think he had a triple double if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And then you had that 25-point win over the Clippers.
Statement win against the Clippers.
Statement, right?
Yep.
After they got. Remember last time they were there, they were blown out.
They blew it into it though. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now they blew them out
Yeah.
at their home, and the surprising thing is that they locked down Kawhi Leonard. They
Yeah.
locked down Norm Powell.
Uh huh.
It was an amazing performance, and now they beat the Warriors. It was a close game, but they were up 20 by
Yep.
halftime. Right?
Right.
They were playing very well. LeBron was at one point he was 5 for 5 from 3.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up with 42, as you mentioned earlier.
Right.
So the next games for the Lakers are obviously a bit. So they're playing at home against Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing at home against Utah, which is
Against
Luka's
Utah.
debut,
Yeah.
and then they're gonna go to Utah again. It's a back-to-back against
Right.
Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're gonna be playing the Hornets,
The Hornets.
Blazers, Feb 23.
Denver.
They're gonna play Denver
Mm.
at in Denver, and they're gonna
That
play Dallas.
would be-
So
that's
in that stretch of games, what are your thoughts about what this team is capable of now, given the fact that they're playing with a lot of energy right now? LeBron is looking 5 years younger, in my opinion.
Honestly, the next few games, Indiana 2 against Utah, Charlotte, Portland, Denver, Dallas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think the only, I mean, honestly, the only game that looks like a challenge here is the Denver game and the Dallas game. Those last two. Indiana, Utah, Charlotte, Portland, they can beat those teams.
That's
But
easy.
the
And
Denver
I
one's
would-
gonna
sorry.
be really interesting. I want to see how the new look Lakers, can go toe to toe against the Nuggets. And remember, we played them once. We just played them once this season. We got blown out,
Yeah.
25 points. So we'll see how it goes now.
I want to watch with a little bit of trepidation here, because
Yeah.
if we look at it, that game is only going to be the 5th game for Luka.
For Luka,
I don't
yeah.
even know when Mark Williams is playing.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not gonna. Obviously, I'm gonna take that game with a lot of
Yeah,
salt,
of
man.
course.
I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
definitely.
I'm not gonna base what happens based on that game, but
Mhm.
it is gonna be a good test of how they will adjust to Denver eventually.
Yep.
I'm expecting to see a little bit of trickery from JJ, just to try and see how this roster will
Yeah.
do against Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree that they would. That's probably going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers lost. But
Mm-hmm.
what I want from that game is I want to see something that I want to see a little bit of preview as to what's going to happen with this team. I
Yeah.
want to see them run their best that
Right.
that game.
Yeah.
If LeBron plays with a lot of energy in that game, I'd be happy about it, even
Right.
if they lost.
Oh yeah.
So, with that being said, right, this next stretch of games is going to be a good barometer as to see how this team will fit.
Yeah. Mhm.
Obviously, this team is set, right? They have one roster spot, which is for the buyout, and there's been some candidates about it.
Right.
So I don't even know. They lost out on a candidate. I believe they wanted to go for Torrey Craig, but he signed with the Celtics.
Right. Another player available, I think, is Chris Duarte, who was also waived by the Bulls.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He had a good season, and he had a good rookie season in Indiana, right?
And then just went downhill from there. Yeah.
Yeah. One more is Dennis Smith Jr. A lot of people are. He played with Luka, obviously. He's not a shooter, but he's another playmaker you can use.
Right.
I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be the target unless Luka really asks for it. There's one guy that I do hope that they get. So I don't know if you watched him, Jaden Springer. So Jaden Springer was part of that Boston championship team.
Oh, okay.
And he was traded to the Rockets, and now he's been waived. So he's actually in the buyout market. So Jaden Springer is 6'4". He's essentially a 3-and-D guy. So if I were to hope, I hope they pick up this guy. I hope they pick up Jaden Springer. I mean, we don't know how they're gonna use him, and but he's probably one of the most perfect fits on this team. So you also have obviously Maxi Kleber. He's gonna be back, right? He's gonna be back. I think April he might be back.
Right.
If the Lakers are in a deep playoff run, he might be playing. But as far as the roster is concerned, this is it. This is the rotation that we're gonna have for the rest of the year, and I expect big things. I think our predictions have changed, and this is definitely gonna be a team to watch. And their odds have shot up as well.
Yeah. Speaking of buyout, I just got word that guess who got bought out, man?
Who's that?
Ben Simmons is finally.
Oh my god!
Buyout.
I wonder who's gonna trick next.
Which team's gonna rip off next?
But the thing is, he's just gonna sign for a minimum, though.
Yeah,
I mean, he's probably gonna approve it contract for the minimum.
Slobo is a candidate also for a buyout.
They would be. Where did he go? Did he go to Miami?
Yeah, he went to the Heat.
Went to Miami, right?
Yeah. Middleton is a candidate for a buyout.
Was that?
Chris Middleton.
What? No.
Because it says here Fox Sports buyout candidates: Kyle Anderson, Cindy Sissoko, Trey Jones, Maxi Kleber, Chris Middleton, Markieff Morris, Cam Reddish, Dennis Schroeder, PJ Tucker, Delon Wright.
You know what? If I want Dennis back. If they don't get Jaden Springer, I want Dennis back. I think Dennis would be a good addition to this team. Mm-hmm. I think it would be all right. Just to have that. I mean, we already have Gabe, we already have Austin, but I think this team is short on guards now. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of wings on the team, but there's not a lot of guards. So I think it's either gonna be Jaden Springer or if Dennis gets bought out, they probably should go for him. But then again, man, this is a win now team. Yep. I think one of the things that was the best part of the trade that they did was that they now have another window that's open. Mm-hmm. The Luka window is not open. The fact that they also opened the LeBron window as well with it is just great. So this team is definitely a win now mode. They traded all the picks that they have at least at this point,
right?
And I expect big things, and we'll definitely be watching for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so they have a game tomorrow at Indiana. Mm-hmm. It's going to be nationally televised on ESPN. We're going to be watching, and then we're going to be back next week to analyze the games. How about that?
All right.
With Luka's first game. Can't wait for it.
We'll see that.
All right, that's it for us. We're going to get out of here. See you guys next week.
See ya. Peace.
Yeah.